we've got a new team of the week as well as a all-star Hut Champs card to go after. The final Supernatural cards look to have been released, and we'll touch on the fantasy cards as they continue to get upgrades at a crazy clip. Let's talk about Archangel Panarin for a minute, though. So, if you followed my stream yesterday, you saw me get to the 3 top shelf goals of Panarin and sit there for about 6 hours. And at a certain point, it became more about pride than actually getting the card. But eventually, I'm going to get this done, and I will put together a video that will show you how to do all of these moments in the easiest way possible. But nonetheless, here is what I would recommend right off the top. I would get to the score 3 top shelf goals, and then I would simply stop. I would finish the rest after the fantasy event is done by just trading in things to get these Titan collectibles, because I promise you guys, the best players in the world are struggling this. The objectives are not tracking all of the time. I've had goals that were right under the bar, not count as top shelf. The AI is clearly not on pro. It is legitimately just a waste of your time. I appreciate anyone that grinded it out or did it again out of spite or pride, but this is what I would recommend. But again, I wouldn't invest any of your collection in making Panarin until the fantasy event is done. We have more days to do so, so wait for that event to finish. Let's take a look at this week's Team of the Wallet, featuring the 85 overall Mark Stone. We've also got Jake Middleton, Alex Lyon, Brant Clark, Brennan Hagel, and Tomas Hertl. Taking a look at the Team of the Week cards in depth, we've got the 82 Jake Middleton, 6'3", 219 with defensive defenseman, which actually gives him great body checking and defensive awareness, as well as stick checking. Skating is a little low at 83 speed, 82 excel, and 84 agility, but it is nice to have a player with this level of defensive rating and body checking stat who's this big, so if you pair him with someone like Cale Makar or someone very quick, you could have a decent pairing here. We've got Brant Clark from the Kings at 6'2", 200 with offensive defenseman. Gives him a pretty good shot, 84 speed and 83 excel. Only 78 endurance and under 80 defensive awareness. This is a hard avoid if you are going to play online. Alex Lyon is your tender for this week at 6'1" with only 83 speed. Again, this one could be left for theme team players only. There's been just way stronger options in net. Brendan Hagel from the Tampa Bay Lightning at 6'2", 183 with playmaking forward. 88 speed, 88 excel, 91 agility. Brendan Hagel cards always look like they're going to be awesome, but he always has very low balance, and he's quite skinny at 183, even though he is 6'2". Body checking is only 71, but he's always got decent hand stats and shooting stats. This could be a pretty fun card for you. And then we've got the 82 Tomas Hertl at 6'3", 215 with sniper forward. I hate that he has such a low face-off rating because he is built like a very good centerman for this game at 85 speed, 84 excel, 86 agility with mid-80 shooting and hand stats. He just has 77 draws, so you really can't use him at center. Pure left-handed winger. Never going to be okay with the Vegas Golden Knights logo on him. Speaking of the Vegas Golden Knights, there is just no way until the end of the game where you can get a Mark Stone card that is actually half decent. 6'3", 212, but 83 speed, 82 excel, and 86 agility. There's just never a good skating Mark Stone. I feel like the only way we're going to get one is if they do like a flashback to the Ottawa Senator days or something. But he's got great shooting and hand stats, good body checking and defensive rating with Goalborn leader, but this is probably the least interesting of the 85 overall Team of the Week cards that have been released. Now, these do work the exact same. You trade in Team of the Week collectibles to get 82 overalls. It does look like it is a choice pack for one of the 82 overalls, but there isn't really any that are all that exciting. And then you trade in 5 of the 82 overall Team of the Week items, plus 3 more 80 overall and above items, and you will get the 85 Mark Stone. Again, unless you are a Mark Stone fan, hard avoid on this week's Team of the Week option. I do want to mention, for anyone wondering, it is worth doing the Team of the Week objectives to collect the Team of the Week collectibles, however, even if you are not going to go after Mark Stone or any of the other cards. The reason being is that it does look like as we go further, you can save up all of your Team of the Week collectibles throughout the month. Like, let's say you didn't spend one, you have almost enough to get pretty close to making one for free outside of the 80 and above player items. So keep that in mind, and it's going to be increasingly important to complete all of these objectives, as well as the Hut moments to get a few more Team of the Week collectibles, because we are about to see our first jump in overalls. Because as you can see, our first Hut Champs player for November is the 85 All-Star Danny Heatley. The top 100 players able to get the 86 overall version. So as you can see, we're now starting to see the +1 to all of the new content. I would suspect the next event also has 86 overall Master Set items. We'll have to wait and see. Taking a look at the 85 Danny Heatley that you can earn with 10 wins in Hut Champs. Get Sniper Forward, which means his shot is all above 90, 86 speed, 84 excel, and 93 agility to go with good hand stats, as well as gold make it snappy. So this would essentially be like a free version of the Supernatural Jaromir Jagr. It's also Danny Heatley, one of the cooler player choices that they've done, especially so far early in the year. Definitely a card that I would recommend players to actually play for. I think Mike Green last week wasn't, given the state of the game and how many options there were. Left-handed winger, it does have the most amount of options available to them. But this Danny Heatley card actually looks pretty sweet, much like Patrick Marleau did in week 1. The top 100 version actually gets a skating increase, which is great for the top 100 players. 87 speed, 85 excel, and 94 agility. And again, everything else just +1. I still think that there should be a little bit more of a differentiator for the top 100 players in the world. I think that, again, their zone ability should be free. +1 for players that can get 10 wins to the top 100 in the little world for that week. Just is not a big enough of a separator between these two cards, but at least the skating does go up by 1. Now we also got 10 more Supernatural cards that, again, had some interesting names in there, like Sebastian Casa. Taking a look at Sebastian Casa, again, has been one of the better goaltenders that I've used so far with his 80 overall. At 6'6", has 87 speed, making him one of the faster goaltenders. This is probably the safest option for you. Again, goalies don't matter, but if you are dead set on getting one that is probably going to play the best for you, this Sebastian Casa is probably up there. We've got some other GOATs from my childhood, like Freddie Modine. He was one of my favorite Leafs. 6'4", 220 with power forward. Not a great skater, but has good slap shot power. Again, this is more of those like just heavy hitter cards I think that they're trying to go with for the Supernatural event. My goodness, Ranger theme team players can build a squadron so far. The 83 Keandre Miller at 6'5", 210, 86 speed, 84 acceleration, and 86 agility with 87 defensive awareness and 85 body check. This is a great left-handed defenseman card. Uwe Krupp, I think I would say his name wrong, with defensive defenseman, 84 speed, but only 82 excel. 79 endurance is brutal, has decent body checking and defensive awareness, but it's usually his size that gets him in lineups later into the game at 6'6", 240. Speaking of the big players, the 84 Eric Daze with sniper forward and unstoppable force at 6'6", 235. Brutal skating at 83 speed, 82 excel. Does have 90 balance, but always has a great wrist shot in the low 90s. D-King's only 78. This card is going to play like a boat, but again, it is going to be so hard to knock him off the puck. And then lastly, Sean Couturier, 6'4", 210, actually one of the best centermen in the game, in my opinion, right now. Silver Quick Draw is a great ability, especially early in the game, and 89 faceoffs is right up there for the highest in the game. He's got 85 speed, 84 excel, which will play at this stage of the game. And ever since that upgradable card way back in, I believe, NHL 20, Sean Couturier has always been one of the better players for me, in my opinion. Now, we are getting close to the fantasy event being completed. We've got some highlighted options for Week 2 still available, like the 85 Matthias Ekholm. These are the questions I get asked the most about which card should I make before the week ends. In my opinion, there are 3 options from this release. You've got Ekholm at 85. My guy, Fabian Zetterlund from the San Jose Sharks, who scored again, now at 85 overall as well. Again, the thing I will say about Fabian Zetterlund is that he is one of those boring cards because it's 85 or whatever his overall, essentially across the board. So even at 90 overall, all of his stats will be 90, but there's nothing that'll be like in the high 90s. And because skating goes up by 0.5, at 90 overall, he's probably 87 speed. I think that he is still the safest to hit 99 out of the entire release. I think they statted him way too low and didn't realize that 20 goals, even on my Sharks, as long as there is no injury, knock on wood, he can do in his sleep. Schneip is fine. So again, if you're looking for a forward, this is the safest one for sure. And then lastly would be Colton Parayko. Again, I think the decision between Ekholm and Parayko is the one that you're really going to have to make. Already a great card. Maybe it doesn't have the same high-end upside that Ekholm does, but I think he'll hit 99. Now, we did also get Supernatural moments, the Reaper's Bounty. So by completing all of these moments, you will get various amounts of coins, which is actually pretty sweet, totaling 21,000 coins. And then finally, you will get a Supernatural Stu Grimson card, because of course, he is a count bound, however, so you can't use him for fantasy collectibles or anything like that. Taking a look at that Stu Grimson card at 6'5", 239. He's got grinding forward and truculence, which is fun. 84 speed, 83 excel, 95 balance, but only 78 endurance. His shot is brutal. Hand stats are brutal, but he is the highest body checking player in the game at 97 with grinding forward activated. So again, a very fun card, I think. And honestly, if you get him and you need any of the hitting objectives done, it might be fun to just have him run around and smoke everybody. The last thing I want to mention before the fantasy hockey week is over, don't forget that the weekly competitive objectives did reset. So again, if you are trying to do everything that you can to get another fantasy player item, you can do your 30 wins in squad battles on 2-minute periods on semi-pro. Again, this is doing chores and it sucks because you're not playing the game the way you want to. But if you're trying everything you can to get another fantasy card, I would recommend by completing these, and then at least you will get a shot at more things that you can actually turn into fantasy collectibles. So again, keep that in mind. So that's going to do it for today's content. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe for the most up-to-date news, tips, and info for NHL 25. And I hate Artemi Panarin.